This is Dr. Wayne Hayde, and today is the 31st of January 2025. Yesterday, on the 30th, we received news that the Commissioner of Police of the Trinidad Tobago Police Service, Ms. Earla Herwood Christopher, was being questioned or interviewed with respect to allegations relating to the importation of prohibited weapons into the country. Now, some say she has been detained, others say she has been arrested. But to me, it's a distinction without a difference in our laws, because if her movement and her right to leave has been restricted or stopped, and or if she has been cautioned in relation to what is given to a suspected or alleged offender, then it's all the same thing. The Commissioner of Police is in custody. Now, that is a very serious matter. But I don't want to deal with that here. I have a lot to say on that at another time. What I want to deal with are statements made by Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa, the leader of the opposition, in which she inferred that she is not surprised by the investigation and interview of the commissioner, because she believes members of government has received firearms that might have been prohibited. Hence the reason why the government attempted to put a gun amnesty into the state of emergency regulations, which, as you know, was subsequently removed. But part of her inference was by saying that it might involve someone not so young or not so old, which to me, as an old Calypsonian, made me believe that she was inferring or referring to Stuart Young. The same Stuart Young who is Minister of Energy and former Minister of National Security, the same Stuart Young who has been earmarked to become leader of the People's National Movement, and by virtue of that, even to become Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. Now, that's a very serious thing to say, because immediately it places that person's reputation or operations under a cloud. And we have to remember, not so long ago, in 2024, Mr. Stuart Young himself returned a firearm said to be a carbine rifle to the TTPS. The question is why? Why then? Now, there are two parts to this. One, I have always argued that some of these carbines, or in fact, all types of guns, though, including, short guns, can be converted into becoming automatic firearms and thereby prohibited under the law just by getting certain types of switches. And if those switches have been allowed to come into the country through licensed firearms dealers, then, in my opinion, that is with the intent to turn normal weapons into prohibited weapons and thereby has breached the Firearm Act. That is my opinion. But this goes deeper because if you recall, during the time of Gary Griffith as Commissioner of Police, lots and lots of firearms were given out, even by using variations to create a mechanism to give people, in my opinion, unnecessary and unreasonable amounts of firearms if intended for self-protection. Some people had 30 firearms. And lots of people, including a member of the Police Service Commission, a previous Police Service Commission, received firearms for both himself and spouse. What is the purpose of that? To me, it goes beyond self-defense and more into creating an arsenal, which I argued in the past, can be used together with the illegal firearms in the country by those who have such intent to possibly lead a coup. And then we had a situation where persons were charged because they illegally transferred firearms, that was the allegation, from the TTPS to the SSA, an entity that was not authorized to carry and use firearms. So the question is now, is the leader of the opposition saying that Mr. Stuart Young has questions to answer, and that other government ministers or government officials might be in a similar position? This is a scandal if that is true. And it has become necessary, in my opinion, that the government officials clear the air, beginning with Mr. Young, as to why that firearm was handed over, and was there anything in that made it necessary for him to be relieved of that firearm? Or is there anything in the allegation or the inference that Section 11 was to help people like him? And what about Gary Griffith? There has been an ongoing investigation into the activities that took place during his time as commissioner, and so far we have heard nothing. Well, let's see now if he will come out and criticize this commissioner, or do the smart thing for once and keep his damn mouth shut, because you don't know what could be coming down the pipe and for whom the bell may toll. But this is a bigger situation. It tells you the difficulty members of the executive of the police service has in repelling, avoiding influence, instructions, recommendations from the political directorate and those who control part of their contracts, as it were. But the truth must come out. And all these questions must be answered. Because I think I know the answer to some of them. And that too will come out. time longer than twine. This is the Watchman, Hayde.